The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 16th day of February, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zool. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on TV, call somebody and let them know it's on. Just get the conversation out there to your network. And don't forget to like and engage with us. Another good one today, as we have artist Duane Jones in the house. The Daily Players will remember when, so it's going to be a bit of history for Carla. Notice I did not say Carla is history, but a bit of history. Well, no, Carla, I didn't want to set you
You
up.
did not have to add that in. See, you throw this shit. And then you got mad at my short jokes. No one misconstrued anything. It's you. You're a bully. Where's Cyber Tips? And you got the nerve to be speaking at this conference this week and you're a cyberbully? Really?
I said no, I legit just wanted to add clarity because I know how people can take these things. So I didn't want them to, take my words and twist them and act like I said Carla is history. So clarity is key, Carla. You know what I'm saying?
Where is Sloan? I hope she's Sloan. Cancel him. I'm calling for a boycott. No one do track whatever Jamal's on. It's a cyberbully.
I mean, I'm not the one throwing around short jokes. I'm not even going to. Actually, I am going to tell him. So, folks, it's this NBA player. His name Taco Fall. He played at in college at in Florida. What's that? University of Central Florida, where Michael Jordan's son went. And the guy stands like 7'5", right? And although I'm 6'4", 240,
64 inches, you mean? Sorry. I'm at a good rest. Okay, focus.
Something wrong with you today, huh? Well, anyway, something wrong with Carla today. But anyway, she made this joke on a sports post where it was this young lady standing next to Taco Fall, and she legit came up to probably his waist, right? And she said that Jamal would come up to his knee and blah, 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 and laughed at her own joke. It's not.
And other people laugh with me. In fact, that makes me think, where's Talent? Because Talent's usually my partner, and I haven't seen him in a few days. Talent, go like the post.
Wow, she's getting a kick out of this, folks. Anyway, enough of Carla's short jokes. Notice I have not called her. I haven't picked on her over the last couple of days. As you know, I don't know if people still do New Year's resolutions, but you know how people say, "Oh, January was a test run. This is February." Well, January and February were test runs for me, and I'm waiting on March for everything, including my finances, in case our dear friend Terry is listening. So let's start with March, and let's just kick off this show as an appetizer to my 2021 resolution. I'm not even going to say New Year at this point. My 2021 resolutions. But Carla, I wanted to discuss something today that I saw got some people on social media a bit not upset, but they were very responsive, right? They were very responsive. And did you see the article? It said 15 people found breaking curfew on the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. And just reading the report, folks, I'm on Burn News. It says, quote, this past weekend, 15 people were found to be in breach of the curfew, end quote, the police have confirmed, with the police urging people to please abide by the restrictions, right? Martin Weeks, who's the assistant commissioner of police, explained, quote, It is a criminal offense to be out in public without lawful excuse during the curfew time to midnight to 5 a.m. If you are not sure as to who is exempted or how to apply for an exemption letter, please visit here, and it's a link that takes you to where the law is. I guess I want to go a bit further than, obviously we know what the law is. The law is basically saying you cannot be out when it's curfew. But here's where it gets interesting, and I think a lot of people were responding like, stop the crap to the police. And we've had Assistant Commissioner of Police Martin Weeks on the show, so I'd consider him as friend of the show. So it's not personal where we're going with this. But here's the quote that I think people really are ticked off at. Quote, it cannot be stressed enough. It cannot be stressed strongly enough that overseas authorities may take note of these offenses should you be convicted in court and question travelers on their reasons for having committed offenses against the COVID regulations when seeking entry into their country. All right. So let's have this conversation. Obviously, you would take that as, okay, so you're saying I'm going to be on the stop list for violating a curfew. Is that what you take from that, Carla?
I do take that from it. However, you guys, in my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. I do think it's petty for the police to say that, right? Mm-hmm. However, I think the problem that people have, no matter where you are in the world, is that rules don't apply to you. Mm-hmm. So there are consequences. Using the bait of travel, because that seems, when I first read it, I was like, well, that's stupid, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a consequence. So if you want to breach curfew and you end up before the courts and that's what happens, that's what you chose. Now, at a time where COVID, the numbers are up and down and all of that, would I want you in my house if I know that you continually break regulations that could put my house at risk? So I do understand why people may feel countries may not want that, but I thought it was petty. I did. But if you choose to break it, you got what comes with it.
Well, I think we said before, there are consequences to actions, but I think I'm going to agree with Robert Dorm here. Sounds like a scare tactic, right? And we know Bermudians love to travel. And the number one place that Bermudians travel is to the United States as a country. And it seems like it's strategic because, if I'm not mistaken, Commissioner Stephen Corbishley recently mentioned the same thing. He mentioned, it could affect travel if you get, a conviction, right? Now, I don't remember because it's been about 12 years, but I actually used to host once a month a show with the U.S. Consulate of the day. And I just want to be clear, if someone can help me, because back then I knew that every offense would not put you on that list, Not just it wasn't just because you had a conviction. You can be convicted of something and still be able to travel. At least it was like that back then. And I'm going to confirm with her today. I'm going to reach out to her today to see what was the actual term that they used. And I'm not sure, does Bermuda do felonies and misdemeanors?
Yes, but not like that. They don't explicitly say it's a felony. Can't even say the word. But you always know if it's a felony if it goes up to Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. But it's not as explicitly stated like how it is in the States, for example.
Right. Because I think that would be a way to, differentiate the crime. But I'm trying to think, was it moral turpitude, something like that? Like that was the difference. It was something like that. Like, again, I used to host the U.S. Consulate, and it had to be a crime, something to do with moral turpitude. It was something like that. So my point is this a crime that puts people in another country in danger? So, for instance, one of the crimes we speak about is if someone in Bermuda is convicted of, let's say, a crime against children, and they're applying for a waiver to go to Orlando, which is known for theme parks, right? To the U.S., to Orlando. Are you going to be in a hurry to think that the U.S. is going to approve that waiver? Probably not, right? But if their crime is something like breaking a law of
Speeding.
well, speeding's not even an offense, right? But let's say what this is, a curfew law. Is that really putting the people in the country they're going to in jeopardy for some reason? Is that contributing something bad to that society, that community?
In this context, I say yes, because we're talking about COVID. I think context is so important and how people would look at it. Again, if you're a petty theft, would I let you in my house? But if you're known for housebreaking, do I want you in my house? It's a difference to me. So in the context of COVID, if you're breaking COVID regulations in your country, why would I expect for you to respect them in mine where COVID's a problem as well? That's where I think they were trying to go with it.
Well, if they're coming to Florida, I mean, there's pretty much no regulation here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got Governor DeSantis down in Florida. He's pretty much on Fox News saying we're turning out better than New York and New Jersey. So I think I understand what you're saying, but in context, if we're gonna put it all in context, certain states think that they're better off by not having these regulations and rules. So Governor DeSantis may welcome this person who has had the courage to break these rules that he doesn't agree with. So it's I don't know. I feel like I get what the police are doing. They're really trying to get people to comply, and we've all said, and Carla repeated earlier, that there are consequences to actions, and if there's a law in place, whether we like it or not, and I'm known for breaking one or two, not a lot, I'll leave that to Carla, but I'm known for breaking one or two when it makes sense, right? Not all laws are good laws, right? But I understood when doing that there were consequences, and when those consequences are handed down, you can either fight them before the courts, accept them, or not accept them, and just you're going to get the consequences anyway, right? What do you all think, though? What do you think? I mean, do you think Bermuda's being too extreme? I read somewhere someone said that the Turks and Caicos had a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. curfew or something. It was like real big.
Bahamas still has one. Portugal's one in the area that one of my friends lives in is still very rigid. They cannot go out except for a short window of time on Saturday to go to do grocery shopping. So rules are rules. If you choose to break them, I do break them sometimes. So
much
incriminating myself.
I agree with you. I mean, as I stated last week, you have to educate me. I'm not one who deals well with authority when you just tell me to do something. Like, I feel like a lot of people are to the point where, we've been dealing with this almost a year, and people are just to the point, okay, what is the point of the curfew? Explain it. Has it been properly explained to them why they can't be out, why they can't go see family, why they can't do this or do that? Those are the kind of things that add to the frustration. Rules are rules, laws are laws. But again, have they been, communicated well enough so that people understand it may be in their best interest or not?
Well, what I found interesting, it's 2 points someone said the other day, and they were like, what does COVID increase at midnight, right? Because in Bermuda it's midnight to 5 a.m., I believe. But the other thing I'd say to my people who reside in Bermuda is don't forget the second outbreak that came in December. And you guys were almost in the same spot where you are now. And then people start becoming reckless as such. And it happened again. So think about that, because I think people are saying, oh, there are all these negatives or no results, or maybe no positives or one positive. It's safe again. But one little slip up can take you right back to where you were and all the trickle that comes behind it. So think about that.
Well, I'm going to take a different angle, and maybe you all will say that Governor DeSantis in Florida is rubbing off on me. Obviously, I work at an arena with a professional sports team. And one of the things I've noticed, we are one of the few arenas who have had fans recently. And as I leave work when we're about to have these events, I notice how full the parking lot is. And it's not people coming to watch the game. It's people who are employed, people who pretty much come and work during these events and sports events and concerts and so on. And so Florida has benefited a lot from states like New Jersey and New York economically. right? And keeping people employed. I remember we said months ago that it's almost like people are choosing between the life of some and the economy. And I believe we can choose both. Being in Florida and being around here, I think there's precautions that one can take. But I can honestly say that I am not afraid because I feel like I'm doing what I need to do to take care of my health and myself and my family. And I could not imagine still being stuck inside and living in fear. And you all know me. This isn't about Republican, Democrat. I don't like your favorite politician, regardless what side they're on. But I think it's rubbed off on me a bit that I am not in fear of what this virus is supposed to be. And I actually appreciate what a lot of people think is crazy and the way that Florida has responded in recent times. When I see the amount of people, like you all make fun of me walking from my car and whatnot, but when I finally do reach my destination and I get into these places and you're like, man, another restaurant closed, another place shut down. And you think to it like, well, when will this bounce back? What will happen? How are their families doing? I call people, clients, and oh, my family's doing much better, Jamal. Thanks for reaching out. We did have COVID, wasn't too bad. But then there are people who lost lives. Mm-hmm. There are people who lost family members. It's a delicate balance. It really is a delicate balance. Different places are handling it in different ways. But I'm going to say this, and I used this term about Dr. Ewart Brown many years ago. You cannot judge him on his term as premier, probably for another decade. I think we're at that place now we can judge him. We really won't be able to judge and measure the impact of COVID restrictions or lack thereof until probably another decade. Right now, it looks grim in some places and it looks great in others. But when we look back 10 years and we see, and I'm just using New York and Florida as an example because they're two different extremes. When we see where New York is 10 years from now, as far as lives and economy, and Florida, lives and economy, then we can say, you know what, maybe their strategy worked, maybe their strategy different. But I think right now, a lot of people, there was an article on LinkedIn just last week that Florida is single-handedly saving the airline industry. Yeah. So again, I always say it's about what we take in and what we want to believe, but I can't sit here as a person in the media that's trying to, change a narrative and just take this fear and act like, oh, the shutdown and the restrictions are all in our best interest. When in truth, instead of discussing that, what I should be saying is, you know what? I just had my shot of turmeric and ginger and lemon. I had a bottle of water after my walk. And now for lunch, I'm going to have a kale salad. That's what we should be doing. Not focusing on fear.
Yeah, it's getting frustrating.
And people are frustrated right now. They're frustrated. I want to say this before we move on. We have a lot of comments. I'm going to get to them. We've been late a few days recently. I want to say this because Leslie White just makes a great point. Then also compare daily cases of new cases of COVID. That's pointless. And here's where I'm going to really want people to think about this. COVID cases are probably the most misleading. And here's why. Are we worried about cases or are we worried about deaths? Are we worried about cases or are we worried about severe cases? I think, I said to a guy, we were arguing about football the other day, and he brought up statistics of a player from Manchester United and Liverpool. And I said, numbers will tell you whatever story you're trying to sell. And he goes, I don't know what you mean by that. I said, think politics, think COVID, right? You have one end of the spectacle, and people are saying, oh, well, only there's a 99% survival rate. And then you have the other end that are saying, well, this state has more COVID cases than that. Folks, we've got to do better. And the only way we're going to do better with this here is if we think beyond the news that we digest if we think about beyond the information that's given to us. I'm not telling people how to feel about COVID. What I'm doing is trying to take the conversation in a different space. And the space that we need to take it is away from politics. Take the conversation away from politics and take the conversation within. Because I'm personally at a space it's not so much, you know how people say life is 90% of 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you respond. This is how I look at COVID. How we individually and collectively respond to it is really going to be what can, and this is it. Data is manipulated based on what they're trying to serve. COVID is real. Don't get me wrong. It's real, folks. But we have to respond differently, and fear isn't the way to respond to it, nor is what Governor DeSantis is doing, like herd immunity. I don't agree with that either. Tamara Richardson says the mental health pandemic is beginning to really challenge the narrative that we are safe. Yes, we are, but at what cost to the future of our society and freedoms? And that's where I'm saying 10 years from now, probably not even, is when you look at it. Charles H. Jaffers, comparing New York and Florida is a false equivalence. New York City has a lot more people. No, I was actually comparing the state. I wasn't comparing the city. There's a lot of things that play, and I agree with you, Charles. In New York City, people live closer together. People live in buildings and so on. In Florida, it's spread out. So it is a false equivalency. But I think Ron DeSantis was actually comparing nursing homes and so on, right? But if you, it's again, I don't necessarily agree with all the measures, but I think we have to do better individually and collectively. Rick Olson says curfew expires today, no indication if it will return. Carla, we're going to get to the news because we are running a bit behind. We do have Duane Jones, Bermudian artist up there in Nova Scotia, that's joining us to have a very important conversation, a celebratory one of what he's been up to. So Carla, take it away, then we'll take a news break.
Two young Black Bermudian ballerinas have been selected to represent the island as part of an international group committed to diversity in dance. Amaya Husband and Honor Stoneham Caesar, both 12, said they were excited and humbled to become junior ambassadors for Brown Girls Do Ballet. The organization, based in Dallas, Texas, aims to promote diversity in ballet and the arts by providing young girls of color with scholarships and networking opportunities. Congratulations to them both. A Bermudian photographer series on the COVID-19 pandemic, created with Polaroid shots treated with disinfectant and cleaning products, have been featured by the UK's national broadcaster. Several of the photographs from Nicola Moorhead's Unseen project were highlighted on the BBC's website. Miss Muirhead, a former photographer at the Royal Gazette, also had images from Unseen featured in other high-end publications such as Time Magazine, The Atlantic, and the Smithsonian. She added that her work has been brought by the BBC before and that it was the first time the spread had been published in the UK. The preceding stories were courtesy of the Royal Gazette. Turning to international news, North Korea has attempted to hack Pfizer and steal its COVID vaccine technology, reports are saying. The isolated nation has still not reported a single case of coronavirus and is due to receive 2 million doses of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine. Last year, suspected North Korean hackers tried to break into at least 9 health organizations, including Johnson & Johnson, Novavax Inc., and AstraZeneca. And now South Korea's National Intelligence Service says they've detected an attempted hack at Pfizer, Yonhap news agency has reported. It still is not known if the hack was successful or when it took place. Have you ever done a Grouch a favor? Sorry. I heard Grouch, I just started giggling. Have you done a Grouch a favor today? If not, then it's likely no one told you it was Do a Grouch a Favor Day, as doing a Grouch a favor is what the day is all about. We all know a grouch at some point in our lives, and it is very likely that we've had phases of being grouchy ourselves. Depending on the nature of the grumps in your life, it may be possible that observing Do a Grouch a Favor Day will be no chore for you at all. However, even if the grouch in the cubicle next to yours is insufferably nasty, do a grouch a favor date is still an excellent opportunity to surprise them with a favor of some description, whether it be an outstanding act of kindness or just a smile and kind response to their cynical comments. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high of 73. Atlanta, Georgia will see a high of 33, and Manchester, UK, a high of 53. Don't forget to tune into the 4100radio.com tonight for Nighttime Jams, featuring some of your favorite romantic classics. That's your Daily Hour news break.
I feel like you were taking shots at me about this grouch business, Carla.
I plead the fifth.
I mean,
I couldn't stop giggling.
You know, we have more important people to join this conversation. We're going to take a quick break and let Carla go and speak to someone about this grouch that she's talking about. Because, you know, have you been speaking to my wife? No, she.
I speak to you every day. I don't need to talk to Nikki. I speak to the grouch directly.
She calls me.
I mean, you directly.
Oh wow. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. Enough about you and your grouchy friend, and we'll be back with Duane Jones on the Daily Hour.
Good day, Medical House Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
I found myself being a caregiver. Even though I was a nurse, I still needed help on, what was available in hospital beds and all that kind of equipment, and I knew where to go. I went to Medical House.
Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
I was very pleased with Medical House and the help they gave me when I most needed it.
Your experience with Medical House is about getting your needs met, but we also try to provide knowledge to help you through whatever you're experiencing.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door.
I would recommend them to anybody.
Call or visit Medical House today.
This month, we're featuring a range of infant and baby care products from Hello Bello, a company started up by a husband and wife team who were inspired to meet the challenges arising from the often surprising, not to mention messy experiences that came with the territory known as parenting. The couple behind Hello Bello know that being a parent is uniquely demanding, and their mission is to bring you premium products at gentle prices. Try Hello Bello Alpha diapers in a range of sizes, Alpha Blossom baby lotion, baby powder, and much more. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. Carla Zul, Jamel the Grouch Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can also watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. Don't forget, as you see at the bottom of the screen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Daily Hour YouTube channel, so you can watch more of my facial reactions to this nonsense that Carla speaks of. I am the happiest grouch ever. Okay. Get that right. And it's Mr. Grouch if you're going to call me any of that stuff. That said, we have a guest. Let's bring in Duane Jones, our guest for the day. He's an artist, a Bermudian artist, and he's based in, man, I just felt cold thinking about Nova Scotia. I hope he's warm up there. Duane, welcome to the convo, brother.
What's up? What's up?
Morning.
First of all, I've got to ask, because you and Carla are both in rather cold places. Nova Scotia. Do you got a lot of snow up there?
You know what? Compared to other parts of Canada, not as much, but we get this like weird hybrid snow, then it rains, and then it turns into freezing rain, and it just becomes like right now, there's no school for the kids because we got this crazy mix of snow / whatever you want to call it.
So it's pretty much like England then. So is it like an Nova Scotia? Forgive my geography. I'm better than Carla at this subject, but it's an island, right? Nova Scotia?
Not really. It kind of like looks like one on the map, but
yeah,
like
Duane, don't be kind to him. Just tell him no, he's wrong. He's trying to be all political. No.
Well, it looks like one on the map. It looks like it's out like on the East Coast by itself up there in Canada. But
yeah, it's the real East Coast of Canada. But like, well, I mean, technically PEI and Newfoundland too. But like, yeah, a lot of times people say Ontario and Quebec are the East Coast, but they're wrong.
Exactly. Well, I haven't made it to Nova Scotia, and PEI is Prince Edward Island, folks. That's where they have those good what they're called oysters up there, right?
Yeah, but I'd say in terms of weather compared to the UK, I think it's colder, but it's also sunnier from what I understand. Like it was bright and sunny yesterday. Girls were outside skating and playing in snow and stuff like that. But
so basically, it's not as depressing as the UK.
Yeah, because it's 53 today, but it's gray. So
poor Carla, we feel for you. But Duane, thank you for coming. Thanks for taking the time to have this conversation. Speak to us about Art Pays Me. It's a lifestyle brand. It's a podcast. What was your inspiration behind it? How did it come about?
Yeah, so for me, it was, growing up, like you don't always hear about artists being that successful throughout their life. It's that, people are scared to pursue a career in that. I was lucky that my parents were nervous, but they saw that that's where my interest lied, and they let me go there. But like, as I, went to Bermudian College, and I went to Nova Scotia College of Art and Design after that, and you get into the real world. And when you're in school, like art and design are like the most important thing in the world. And then, the professional world hits you, and you realize like, oh, people don't necessarily value the creativity in the same way that they value it when you're in school. Mm-hmm. And, I dealt with clients that either didn't want to pay me, or people just didn't, they would lowball you all the time and that kind of stuff. And, over years of working as a graphic designer, I just got like super frustrated with the industry. And I ended up going into another industry, which is information management, which I still work in today. And during that process, I just learned the value of art by talking to other people in that industry who said, you as an artist bring a unique perspective and a value. And I started realizing that if artists can do a better of using both right and left brain thinking, they can be more successful. So the clothing brand, and I was just looking for more creative ways to like express myself and be an artist, be a designer. Clothing brand is kind of the output of that. And the podcast is just another way to demonstrate that artists can use right and left brain thinking and be successful.
Gotcha. Speak to us about the, because you've been doing some big things, right? I recently read that you designed the packaging for your sister-in-law, Gaynette Edwards Jones, her new venture.
Yes.
I'm pronouncing it right. Best period. Right. All right. Got to make sure I get it right.
Get that T.
That experience. That's pretty huge. She's been doing some great things, and I love when I see people, collaborating, especially when families do it. What was that like?
Tay is amazing. She's such a, like, you can't tell her she can't do anything, So when she told me that she had this idea to go into the product market after she's already been successful in a lot of other ways. So I was like, if she says she's going to do it, I'm down. And she wanted to involve me. So I was honored. And I don't do a lot of design work for other people these days, but, for her, I made an exception. And, I just feel grateful to be brought along for the ride, because who knows how far she's going to take this thing. It's already getting featured all over the place. And it's just one of those projects that, yeah. And to have someone that's my sister-in-law to like be in, it's nice, like having that kind of person to like be able to shoot ideas off of and relate to in that way.
Indeed. That's amazing. We love to see it. We also love to see Bermudians excelling beyond our beautiful island. We often speak about growing beyond our environment, and our environment in Bermuda is only 21 square miles. So seeing people like yourself, you were selected as one of the most inspiring immigrants in the Maritimes in 2021. Congratulations first.
Thank you.
But how did this come about, and how, talk to us?
I have no idea. You know what? Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, right? So I tried to come back home and work as a graphic designer. Nobody was really feeling it in the agencies back home. Agencies weren't really feeling me up here. So like this whole Art Pays Me journey was about me looking for my own, trying to create my own lane for things. And, you know, I've technically been on this journey since 2011, creating my own lane. And actually Carla featured me in, she interviewed me a while back when I had my North Shore tees back in when my brand was called Beak Literati. So yeah, it's just one of those things where I don't fully understand it, but you know, you wait for other people to acknowledge you and for other things to happen. But it seemed like ever since I started putting my foot on the gas and creating my own art and my own platforms, people started to take notice, and someone nominated me for this award. And I was like, okay, I still don't know who nominated me. And then I had some friends of mine, and thank you to those friends who wrote letters to say that I do actually deserve this award. And somehow they picked me as one of the award winners. So, yeah.
Nice.
Dr. Bear, let's go. I'm sorry. Let's go back real quick. You said that you used a phrase in regards to Canada and Bermuda, and you said people weren't feeling you, but yet you still created a lane that worked for you. What do you say to a younger person or just anyone who's frustrated, but you found a way? So what would you tell them to find that way, as opposed to taking that rejection as I shouldn't do it at all?
I think consistency for me, it was like that first time you put out a shirt design, or the first time you put out anything, whatever if you're a singer, whatever that thing is most likely not going to be good. It's not, you know, people, and maybe it might be good. I don't know. Some people seem to get success a lot faster. For me, it took a long time, but not everyone's going to like what you do. But the thing that ended up helping me is being consistent and saying, okay, well, that didn't hit, I'm gonna put something else out. That didn't hit, put something else out, put something else out. And after a while, people are like, yo, this dude's been around for a minute. And, you know, eventually somebody starts liking your thing. And then, you know, after that, they tell somebody else, and then they tell somebody else. And it just slowly starts to build and grow. So I think for me, consistency and not being afraid to fail, just continually putting yourself out there, eventually something happens.
Now, I read an article that was written about you a few years ago where you were called like a rebel, because while some designers design stuff for the aesthetics, you also incorporated social messages. Mm-hmm. Why was that so important for you to do that?
For me, I think it's just being honest. I know a lot of people talk about just art for art's sake, but for me, my art is based on my experience. And if I'm upset about something or feeling something, it kind of shows up in what I'm creating. So I remember having a conversation with somebody a while ago when I was at Bermuda College, and some people just were like, you should just do landscapes. That's what people really like. People like to see landscapes of the island. It's beautiful. I'm like, yeah, that's just not what I'm not interested in that. Like this Nova Scotia unceded territory thing, like I know that pisses a lot of Nova Scotians off, and I didn't paint it to piss people off. I painted it to because it's real, it's honest, and I think we need to be acknowledging what's happening. And at least for me, that's my personal view as an artist. I don't think everybody has to do that, but for me as an artist, I need to express something that's really impacting me or really bothering me in some way.
So can you explain for us who are outside of Nova Scotia, what do you mean by that with the unceded?
Oh yeah. So this is kind of talking about like how Indigenous people, this land that I'm based on, Chibukta, Halifax, that most people know it as, this was colonized land. It did not belong to the people who claim to own it today. So this was just talking about how this land was not actually given to these people. It was more or less just inhabited
Okay. Now you've had these shirts forever that people love. You've with the North Shore and the South Shore, spelled SAUF and NAWF for those who aren't familiar. What made you choose those two terms to put on your clothing when there are so many Bermudian colloquialisms to choose from?
Yeah, and you know what? It took a while to like figure out which way to spell it too. And I'm not sure if I even completely agree with the way I spelled them to this day. I could do so many different versions of it. But it really just started with North Shore because that's where I grew up. I grew up in Loyal Hill and, jumping off the rocks down there. And that's and even like later I left North Shore. I mean, left Loyal Hill and went to Dock Hill. So I feel like I'm a North Shore boy. So it just came out. I was like, I want to do something that like speaks about where I'm from, and chose that. But what I didn't want is to just become, a Bermudian brand. And because there were a lot of different terms after that. Once that came to mind, I was like, oh, I could do this. I could put this on the shirt. I could put that. And a lot of people suggested it too. But at that point, that was when I was still Big Glitterati, and Big Glitterati didn't really have a direction. It was more just me putting stuff out that I liked. And but I was trying to figure out, like, where do I stop? I don't want it to go completely down this one specific lane. So I kind of stopped at North Shore and rebranded soon after that to Art Pays Me. But yeah, that's kind of the reason it didn't really go further than that.
Yeah. I really want to get back to, I mean, there are so many Bermudian artists and just creatives, period. And we've had quite a few on this show, both local and outside of Bermuda. But there seems to be this struggle that's been going on for years. Like, they just don't feel welcomed. They don't feel like the opportunities are there. What advice would you give to some Bermudian artists that just feel like there are no opportunities in Bermuda?
That's a tough one. I mean, I could say, just create your own opportunities, but that I know is not possible for everybody. That's not realistic. The only thing I could say, like, for me personally, I still work a day job. Like, a lot of people see all the stuff I do on the internet and they think that Art Pays Me is all I do, but it's not. It's not sustainable for me even up here. So to me, if you can still work that day job or find something that you can do that can fund your art, still continue to just put it out, be unapologetic. Don't be afraid to do the thing that people say that's stupid, or I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Just you have the security of your day job, so you can be allowed to make mistakes and just keep pushing. Eventually, hopefully, people will notice. And also, you're in the age of the internet. Like, look at people like Shiona, look at people like Perry and Gainete, and a ton of others that I've come across who are just like somehow getting people from all over the world to pay attention to what they're doing. So I think it's possible to make it.
Yeah. Interesting enough, we had DJ Ibreeze Bakari on recently, and he was very honest, like you were. Like, transparency is important because people, he said he had a full-time job, and there are people out there doing this, DJing full-time, and you said, you still do have a day job. But I guess the same question to you is, what will it take to get Art Pays Me to the level where you eventually can make it your full-time gig? Or is it more on the level of, this is still a job, it's just my second full-time job, and I'm working on multiple streams of income?
That's a good question, because I do juggle between those two thinking. So Gainete actually has a course that she did. I don't know if she still offers it, but it's about like helping people make whatever their creative passion is or their business their full-time job. And there are times when I'm just like, I like my job. I still like my day job. So for me, I like being able to use my mind in different kinds of ways, and it works for me. It might not work for other people. The only thing that's frustrating is that I do think of it as I have two jobs. I don't think of it as, oh, this is my side gig and my hustle or whatever anymore. I literally think, oh, I got two jobs. When one stops, I go do the other one. And sometimes it gets to be a lot of pressure, and it just is like, I got to pick one or the other. So and I know if I put more energy into Art Pays Me, it could take over. I still don't know if I wanted to yet. That's the thing.
Indeed. I say it, they both work for you. Keep it up, bro. Like honestly, I feel like sometimes people feel pressured to choose one or the other, but as long as you can do both, I mean, all power to you. It's put it this way, I guarantee you, if you wouldn't have said that you have a full-time job, people wouldn't have known. They just bought it anyway, right? We have Raquel Emery says, "Hey, I have a North Shore tee." Hi, DJ. We got some fans. Well, Carla hasn't bought me one yet, so I'm gonna buy my own. I'm gonna buy my own.
I don't sell them anymore, unfortunately. But that's my cousin.
But Duane, I appreciate your honesty, because I think also sometimes people think that what they love has to be like, they have to make a ton of money off it. They have to be deemed a success. So I appreciate, or they even pretend that it is. But I appreciate the fact that you're okay with what Art Pays Me is.
Thank you.
Mark Phillips has a question. What are some of the major hurdles that you have had to overcome as a Black artist?
Yeah, you know what? So I'm interested in what it means to be a Black artist in Bermuda, because, I was showing art in Bermuda when I was a teenager, but I left at 19. So I didn't fully get to experience that. But like here, living in a mostly white society, the challenge is that they don't always understand where I'm going with my art. Like a lot of Black artists, I'll take other people out of it. I'll say for myself, but I don't think they fully get the direction that I'm going sometimes. And I've had things where, I put out something that has something about being Black or being proud to be Black or whatever, and then I get hate mail because I said that in a news article or something. So you get like a lot of white defensiveness sometimes when you try to express yourself, where they think you're being reverse racist, as if that's a thing. So the challenge is the cultural understanding that people have to catch up on. Last year flipped the switch. A lot more people seem to be more open-minded to like embracing Black artists, and I've seen a lot more Black art be embraced. So hopefully things are moving in a different direction.
Yeah, I always say, I was told this in radio back in the day, that you haven't arrived until you start getting hate mail and people. I mean, like, honestly, it's just the space you're in, because that you're making a difference. That you're touching, some uncomfortable spaces, right? You're entering some uncomfortable spaces and trying to change things through art. It's easy to just be an artist or a photographer and bang, but to do it and make a difference and to educate in the process, that's what we need. So you are appreciated, and I'm glad that people are recognizing you, especially beyond Bermuda, for your contributions to art. How can people follow you, support you? Just share a bit of that with us.
Yeah, I'm at Art Pays Me everywhere, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Clubhouse now. I mostly just listen, but you can check me out there. And artpaysme.com is my website, so you can check out what my new stuff is. And maybe I do another Bermuda theme thing. I'm working on a Bermuda theme painting right now too. So yeah.
All righty, we have a fan in the house, Sister.
Hey,
again, congrats to her. And like I said, I liked how she brought you in and you guys worked on the packaging. That's the collaboration. We need more of that. So congrats on everything you've accomplished. And when we have you back, I'm sure we'll be speaking about 10 more accomplishments by that time. So we appreciate you, man. Honestly, we appreciate you, and all the best going forward in whatever you accomplish next.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Take care. Nice seeing you.
Yes, nice seeing you again, Carla.
I love it, man. Doc Hill, boy, North Shore. I love it. One of us. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I really appreciate it.
You been sipping off of North Shore?
No. I'm very honest about that. I watched everybody else swim, and I went fishing over on. While people were jumping off at Sanders down there, I was over Devonshire Dock fishing with my boy's daddy, Uncle Dal. So no, you ain't got to worry about me swimming off there.
Pulling your card.
Yeah, she can try, folks. But no, honestly, Duane, really love it. I mean, that I love those kinds of conversations with extremely relatable people that are making a difference through something they love to do, right? That's it. And I look forward to personally supporting him. And I hope everyone that's watching today or listening, if you're on the radio station, go follow at Art Pays Me. Let's support our Bermudians wherever they are in the world. We're going to take a quick break. After this break, we'll come back. I don't know why I got called grouchy when I smile so much during this part of the show, right? But we're going to come back. You don't want to miss this part of the show. This is where Carla, she shines through, folks. She shines through. The daily play, and it's lessons in our daily players. So you don't want to miss it. Today is Remember When. So it's a history question. I want to see if the audience is going to get it as well. And Carla picks up on my patterns, right? The answer was given to us recently. That's all I'm going to say. The answer was given to us recently. You got time to think, Carla. We'll be back after this. Stick with us.
Bermuda, do you know the difference between internet and Wi-Fi? Don't worry, neither did I. Let me break it down to you. Internet is delivered to your modem, which then has to push the Wi-Fi signal into the rest of your home. Do you find that the further you're away from your modem, the weaker your Wi-Fi signal gets? That's because Bermuda's homes are built hurricane tough. It's really difficult for that Wi-Fi signal to reach every room. But you're in luck. Our One Home Wi-Fi solution guarantees Wi-Fi coverage in and around your home with the help of our Eero devices. Plug in the Eero around your home and it will create a mesh Wi-Fi network in every room. Check us out at One today to sign up and make sure you can stream, work, and play from every corner of your home.
All right, welcome back to the big show, The Daily Hour. She's Carla Zool. I'm Jamel Hartman. Thanks again to Duane Jones at Art Pays Me. Like I said, if you haven't already, make sure you go and follow. Go to artpaysme.com. Support the brother. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Daily Hour. Make sure you subscribe to that. Thanks again to One Communications, Lindo's, and Medical House for ensuring that we're able to do this. Educate, engage, inform, and right now Carla's about to entertain. So, Carla.
1959. That's the answer. I knew it.
I mean, you could be right, actually. Let me
I'm acting like Jackie, you know.
I know you are. You could be right. No, I thought you almost. You ever seen someone play golf and they swing and they got a hole-in-one? Never play a golf in their life, but they get that hole-in-one. I thought you might have been that person just now, but then I was like, nah, this is Carla. It's not going to be her. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, show us some love, give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, give us a like on Twitter, give us a like on Facebook. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like and follow us on all our social media channels. That would be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as subscribing on YouTube. So make sure you do that. Here's today's question. As I stated, folks, the answer has been given to us before, very recently. All right. So it's a remember when. The Daily Play, if this is your first time watching, the Daily Play is the end of every episode. We do a little trivia question. So today's Daily Play is a remember when. Tuesdays, it's remember when history question. In what year was the Bermuda Union of Teachers founded?
Oh, man. Hold on. Wait, where are we now? And I could picture the shanty saying it. President Bailey, and I can't remember. So let's see. It was at the funeral of the lady, 1962. The Brangman sisters, Pastor Stubble. I can remember all of that. I just can't remember the date. No, it's earlier than that. 19. No, 1920 something. Because they had 100 years already. The 100,
I
1919.
gave you the hint, and then
1919. Because I was like 102. I had to do the math in my head.
the answer is 19. Do we give Carla a round of applause, folks, or do we?
Yes. I remembered all that other information. Come on, y'all, give me some credit for something.
We'll give her a round of applause. All right. So with the help of the audience, Carla got today. So you are correct, Carla, through the audience. Reverend Rufus Stovall, Miss Adele Tucker, Miss Edith and Matilda Crawford in 1919 stood in contemplation with, at the St. John's graveyard after the burial of one of their contemporaries, Miss Rosa Butterfield. So as a result of the gravesite meeting at the burial of Miss Rosa Butterfield, the Bermuda Union of Teachers was born. The official beginning was February 1st, 1919. So that's today's Daily Play. Thanks again to President Nashanti Bailey for coming by a couple weeks ago to have that conversation and celebrate all of our educators and teachers. Carla, do you feel relaxed after getting that?
I have very good recall. I just couldn't remember the date. So I am proud of myself.
Yeah, 1962 was very close. It was very close. I mean, I was like, how does she not remember the 100 years we spoke about?
I know. I was like 100, 102. Yeah. I had to get there.
What you were thinking of your age, 62, but I get you. You got any inspiration for us today?
Oh, I need a short joke for tomorrow. Do one thing every day that scares you. Eleanor Roosevelt.
I love it. That's basically saying get away from that place of comfort and challenge yourself. Just get out there. It may be scary, but you'll never know. And that goes back to what I said about COVID earlier. We can sit inside or we can go outside and get some sun and breathe.
When you talking about that earlier, you know what really is starting to frustrate me? Going to the grocery store, because the one closest to my house will not allow me and my 20-year-old, which we use as our one-on-one time, to go to shopping. They'll be like, are you from the same household? You can't come in. And then I have to lie and say that I picked her up, or I have to be rude. And I really try not to be rude. They followed us around the shop like we stole something to say, are you from the same household? I was like, what? So we go all the way out to another place just so we could grocery shop together in peace for girl time. It's ridiculous. I'm like, this is becoming too much.
Yeah, it's definitely it's tiring. I remember saying at the beginning of it last year, April, that if everyone complied from the beginning, we'd be better off later on. And obviously everyone didn't comply. And so now we're still dealing with the same thing 10 months later. Probably we're just emotionally drained, we're physically drained, we're mentally drained. And so, it's tough. I think I speak for many when I say we want to get out of this with more health, less death, and a better place for all of us to live. Regardless of how we feel about the virus, it is real. It's real. I know that may upset some people, me saying that, but it does exist. How we respond to it is probably where we differ. But it is.
I think I'm gonna wear a mask all the time, even once the danger is gone. That's just how I feel. So,
well, many have done that. Many in different cultures and countries have always worn masks. So, just take care of yourself, protect yourself, eat well, exercise, and we'll be doing our part to ensure that we're safe and keep our families safe. Any final words on today's episode before we head out, Carla?
No, congratulations again to Duane for winning that prestigious award from his university, and I wish him all the best. Let's support him. Let's look for Art Pays Me and follow him on all social media.
Indeed, and thanks again to Duane Jones. Really, really appreciate. I love speaking to all people. Just Bermudians doing well, and a Black Bermudian brother that's doing well for himself as well outside Bermuda. We don't celebrate him enough, so I'm grateful for him coming on and look forward to supporting him in the future. On that note, thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Linders for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again tomorrow. She's Carla Zool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a great day.